More art for the art god, with a further look at the Mystara Dungeon Master's Guide's faction list, as well as a funny little story about the magical powers of skepticism. Today's faction entry is the Iron Ring, one of the best bad guys in all of Dungeons & Dragons. No matter how many times you stab these guys, you don't feel bad about it later. They are the ones that showed up in the Karameikos gazetteer, later Night's Dark Terror, and the Eye of Traldar, and a few dungeon magazines if I remember correctly. They have no social redeeming value. They are either boss-level bad guys or mooks, with not much in between. This did make Night's Dark Terror one of the best with the constant chase, as either they had the thing and you needed to catch up, or you had the thing and they were hot on your trail. These videos are, of course, to help showcase the Mystara Dungeon Master's Guide, and to help raise funds for the book, as the art is quite expensive. The book is halfway done while I'm cleaning up some sections for formatting reasons. We've passed the halfway mark on the art for the factions, and I'm done with the formatting corrections. Once I'm done with that, it's on to the mass combat. And it's probably a lull in the art, as it's a lot of writing. If you'd like to help out, head over to freemystara.com, where I have all the progress on display for everybody, as well as plenty of Mystara resources and the playtest rules for the domain section. Okay, and while I was making this last video, several times I received a threatening email telling me that I was flagged for making the Mystara videos and that a strike was issued against my channel. Then I found the video that they told explained everything, and I realized that the email was from youtube.org. I managed to save that video that was sent to me before the actual YouTube nuked the entire offending channel from orbit. So please enjoy this completely legitimate and totally not dubbed poor excuse from a scam, brought to you probably by the Iron Ring.
Hello, we are writing to inform you that a strike has been issued against your YouTube channel due to a violation of YouTube's community guidelines or content policies. This strike may affect your ability to upload content, live stream, or otherwise engage with platform features. If you believe this action was taken in error, you have the right to appeal the strike. To initiate the appeal process, please follow the instructions provided at the link below. We appreciate your prompt attention to this matter.
The Iron Ring. Their purpose is to profit from the slave trade. Organizational type is criminal, estimated membership is 2,500, functional range is Western Karameikos to the Broken Lands, and their criminal status is secret and illegal. Of all the criminal organizations to operate in the known world, few are as despised as the Iron Ring. A slaving operation that works primarily on the known world's western side, the Iron Ring will kidnap anyone that authorities won't notice. They have been known to take entire settlements in the wilds of Karameikos, and have ranged as far as Darrakin and Etrugan. The Iron Ring existed long before the Thaetian invasion of Karameikos, where they terrorized isolated homesteads with their sporadic raiding. The slavers' victims were then sold off to the highest bidder, often to humanoids or slavers in Thyatis. On infrequent occasions, the Iron Ring would deal with the tiger clan of Etrugan, where the priest would buy slaves destined for the bloody altars to Edzantiodal. One of the worst fates for someone taken by the Iron Ring is to be used as a hound, a drug-addicted, brainwashed foot soldier of the organization. Hounds have no hope for freedom, as their will is stripped away through torture and drugs applied by the Ring. The hounds are used as throwaway troops in combat. Newly acquired slaves replace losses, any captured or left to their fate, often short and brutal. If a hound is caught and cared for, restoring the slave's faculties usually requires clerical magic. The typical member of the Iron Ring that isn't a mindless hound is the Reaver. Reavers are almost thieves, brigands, or other cutthroats willing to do anything to earn a gold coin. They are deployed when needed if they are accepted into the Iron Ring's ranks, and are expected to follow any order without question. They are in charge of the hounds, and are also used as spies, scouts, and on occasion, contacts with clients. Reavers can all be identified by a brand somewhere on their body, showing their membership to the Iron Ring, which is typically easy to hide behind long sleeves. The organization's true leadership is the Masters, which are almost entirely comprised of spellcasters. A few Masters have been Reavers that have proven their worth to the organization, but those are rare. Masters rarely deal with slaves in person, leaving that up to the more competent Reavers. Instead, the Masters are more concerned with getting the slaves to markets, finding new buyers, and punishing anyone who gets in the way of the Iron Ring and profit. Masters tend to be quite powerful and highly capable, as those that aren't usually have shortened lifespans. No individual or organization would openly admit dealing with the Iron Ring, but they have a long list of clients who are always looking for new bodies for various reasons. Glantry always needs new test subjects. Dwarves and Hen make especially valuable slaves for the Glantrian wizards. Thyatis requires cannon fodder for its arenas. Numerous petty warlords on the outskirts of civilization use the slaves to mine gold and gems. King Thar in the Broken Lands is one of the largest buyer of slaves, as they can mine the dangerous caverns of the world below, and if they're lost to a cave-in or gas leak, he can always buy more. Business is good for the Iron Ring, despite the risks. The list of enemies of the Iron Ring is too numerous to count. The organization is banned in every civilized nation they work in, and the local governments aren't keen on taking members alive. They're especially prevalent in Western Karameikos, where they enjoy Baron von Hendrick's protection, one of their few allies. Even then, his protection is behind the scenes. He will gladly have individual cells slaughtered to show that he opposes them publicly. Cells that fail the Iron Ring are often sacrificed in this way to throw off suspicions. The most significant threat to their existence is typically adventurers. The bounty that gets placed on the various known members can get high enough to draw in bounty hunters from across the known world. Several orders of paladins are sworn enemies of the Iron Ring. Besides, if the slaving raids get too common, rulers will often offer great rewards to anyone who can bring them to justice. Karameikos, Darrican, and the Five Shires granted several domains to various adventurers who have inflicted significant damage on the slavers. Organization. The Iron Ring operates in a cell structure, so if one group is captured or discovered, the damage from exposure is minimized. Each group of hounds is led by a reaver who answers to a senior reaver who is responsible to a single master. There are several layers of masters after that, each operating in increasingly vast territory from which they capture or sell slaves. At the top there is the High Master, whose actual identity is secret to all other Iron Ring members. At the highest levels, most masters are unknown even to each other, and face-to-face meetings are avoided in all but the direst circumstances. Promotion in the Iron Ring is almost always done through attrition. There is little loyalty in a cutthroat group of slavers, but openly assassinating a rival is punishable by death. Removal of a competitor or a superior has to be done discreetly, informing the local authorities in secret of a rival's activities being the most common. The danger in that is great, because if a member brings down too much heat on the Iron Ring, or worse, begins to impact their profit margin, the offender is as good as dead. Each master is given about a dozen reavers that work directly under them. Most masters don't even speak directly to their reavers, sending them clandestine messages through magic or tactics like dead drops or trail signals. Masters get their information from the Iron Ring's rather vast spy network. These spies try to identify vulnerable homesteads or travelers passing through treacherous stretches of roads. The Iron Ring then launches raids that attempt to capture their target, leaving no witnesses to the attack. For all its numerous problems, the Iron Ring is highly profitable. The demand for nameless slaves is high, and because of this, they can name their price. It even takes specialty orders for demi-humans or humanoids, but the price goes up for those substantially. The Iron Ring does not target specific individuals. Kidnapping a known public official has a bad habit of attracting attention. The organization also shies away from targeting spellcasters, mainly because the risk is too high and the cost of hounds and reavers becomes prohibitive. The Iron Ring replaces their numbers in one of two ways. Hounds they replace with the fittest slaves they have. The new hounds are tortured for days and plied with drugs until their will is broken. Once they follow any order, the hounds are branded with the Iron Ring's mark and kept chained like the dogs until needed. For reavers, the Iron Ring recruits brigands and thugs. The recruits are given a series of tests, each one crueler than the next. If a recruit fails any of the tests or refuses an order, then the recruit is killed. Joining the Iron Ring is for life. Anyone who tries to leave or worse approaches the authorities is hunted down as a priority. Masters usually are recruited from outside the Iron Ring and always by other masters who invite them to invest in the organization. Only reavers who have proven truly exceptional are invited to join the ranks of the masters, but those make for their deadliest members. Adventure hooks! Don't let them take you alive. The characters are resting at a small isolated tavern when a woman runs through the palisade screaming about killers. In moments, dozens of howling hounds come charging out of the night with the gates closing just in time. Now the party and tavern guests have to survive until daybreak against the Iron Ring's fanatical troops. Truth shall set you free. Grand Duke Stefan has charged the characters with finding out why travelers are disappearing on the road between Verge and Threshold. The characters arrive to find the attacks have stopped, but once they leave, they start anew. There's a spy in the Duke's court passing on the information to the Iron Ring about the efforts being used against them, and the characters have to figure out who before the Iron Ring can be stopped. Enough is enough. The Iron Ring has overstepped its bounds in the outskirts of Darrican. The characters have been charged with confronting and destroying large numbers of slavers running riot in the countryside. They have been assigned an entire Darrican militia company. It is up to the characters to lead these troops in battle against a large but disorganized group of the Iron Ring. 5 moves ahead. Amelie von Hendrix, the charismatic yet self-serving daughter of Baron von Hendrix, has been providing the characters with the Iron Ring's underground movements in the Black Eagle Barony. The information has always proven true, but this has left room for the von Kessler merchant house to begin operations in the area. It is up to the characters to figure out how to thwart this new group of slavers without alerting their would-be benefactor that they are wise to her. Follow the money. At the Darrican Grand Masquerade Ball, the characters find evidence that one of the guests is a master of the Iron Ring, and they are there to sell a large number of slaves to an unknown buyer. The characters have until the end of the ball to unmask the slaver as well as the buyer. If the party can discover the slave's location, they stand to free dozens of people otherwise condemned to an abbreviated and brutal life. The hard way. A reaver condemned to the noose in a small village makes a deal to save his life. In exchange for everything, he knows the Grand Duke is willing to offer a full pardon. Now the party has to escort the reaver just over 100 miles from Rugelov to Specularum. The captive is a thoroughly despicable man, and his careless behavior alerts the Iron Ring to his intentions. Now the party has to get their prisoner to the capital's safety with the Iron Ring in hot pursuit. Needed killin'. A knight of the Sisters of the Gladius is found standing over a well-known and respected merchant's corpse. She is charged with his murder and faces execution if convicted. The knight claims the dead man was a master of the Iron Ring, but there's no direct evidence of this. The characters have just a few days to prove the knight's claim, or else she will hang as a murderer.